Howdy, hey friends. I know it's been a hot minute. DadTheNoob, and we're back with a new video for DadTheNoob tries to make. In this case, we're gonna make two food items. One is a poor man's beef yakisoba with a twist, and the other is a quintessential staple of Philippine families. It's a breakfast bread typically, but I guess you can eat it throughout. It's warm, it's moist, it's chewy, it's pandesal. I'm gonna fumble forward to success and try to make this work. Hope you enjoy it.
If the Philippines had a national bread, it would probably be pandesal. Literally salt bread in Spanish, Filipino historians widely agree that the bread was a product of the Portuguese and Spanish colonial experience on the archipelago in the 1500s. With the introduction of the Americans in the 19th century, flour became more available and affordable, leading to the transition of staple baking grain from wheat to flour, making pandesal more widely available. Eaten with every meal and at any time of day, pandesal is the quintessential Filipino baked good.
Alright, so pandesal in 7 parts roughly. So the first one's part 1 is make the yeast. It's yeasting up right there. You can see the bubbles. It's been sitting there for a little bit now. The next step is to make the milk sauce, or what I've called milk sauce, which is essentially a cup of milk and then 2 eggs in here. And then we gotta throw in some butter. You want to keep it room temperature, so I let it sit out for a little bit. Essentially, just got to throw it in here and mix it up. Like that. Sugar. Where's the sugar at? Sugar says what? Oh, half cup. Okay. So break out our azúcar. So we may be asking, well, DadTheNoob, why are you making Filipino food? Well, I married a Filipina. Filipina. Anyway. How do I say that word?
He just butchered that.
I did. I butchered it hardcore. And my kids are mostly Filipino, so figure they stay true to their cultural roots. I really like pandesal. It was one of my favorite things when my wife and I started dating. I was introduced to, and that's what I think. Nothing more Filipino than some pandesal. So I'm gonna do my best to follow this recipe and make it work. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna mix this up, and then we're gonna combine everything into this bowl here, and then we're gonna make the dough. We're gonna let it set and rise, but we want to take care of the dough and the pandesal on the front end because the poor man's yakisoba is really quick, like less than 30 minutes in toto from prep to completion to wrap up. So I'm gonna mix this up, and then we'll be right back. As with most things with DadTheNoob, I totally don't follow the recipe, even though I try to, and I always end up using power tools. And when you're using power tools, always have the right safety equipment. So here, we're gonna go ahead and mix this up. You wanna have the butter to be room temperature. I thought I did, but obviously I didn't. So we're gonna mix this up. All right, I should have started this whole thing with a great big mabuhay, right? Which is Filipino for saying like cheers, good health, welcome, all that other good stuff. So mabuhay. My bad. All right, so I have bad luck with baking. As most people may or may not know, baking is a mystery to me. It is a damn mystery. So, full disclosure, baking and me, again, don't go on so well. So, didn't want to capture the in-between footage of me just cursing at this mass of soapy, sticky gooiness as my wife vigorously tries to figure out what step am I missing? And honestly, I don't know what it is. But we managed to make some dough. We threw it inside a greased basin, and we kneaded it as best we could. It still looks really sticky and gross. So I don't know if this is going to turn into pandesal or not. It might be like panda failure or something. I don't know. But we're going to cover it up and let it sit for an hour and see if it rises. If it rises, then we know the yeast is functioning. If it doesn't rise, well then it's something that's going to go inside the trash. But waste not, want not. We'll do what we can to salvage it. So we're going to cover this bad boy right now and then let it sit. Because this is going to be the longest part of this process, right? This little culinary adventure that we find ourselves on. So we're going to set this aside. Poor man's yakisoba, beef yakisoba is going to be comprised of 3 packets of ramen noodles. So yeah, that's like the $69 or 69 cent. Wow, $69 is really expensive packet of ramen noodles. Now this is the smaller ones. And then we're going to throw in some steak. We're going to slice it up really fine. We're going to throw in some veggies. We're going to cook it up really good. And we'll see how it turns out.
Yakisoba is a relatively new culinary addition to Japan, materializing sometime in the early 1950s. Initially found in noodle shacks, yakisoba began being sold in nagashi or candy shops when owners mixed Worcestershire sauce to season the dish. Today, there are over 40 variants on the dish, and more to come as yakisoba gains popularity worldwide.
The base sauce right here, so that's the mix of garlic, soy sauce, sesame seed oil, and cornstarch to thicken it up a little bit. We diced up our onions. We got the broccoli florey, I don't know. We chopped it up really nice. And now we're gonna boil the noodles, and once all that's done, we're gonna smash it all together. It should be pretty quick. All right, so the meat is done, and we're storing it inside the noodles for the time being, so that way they absorb some more of the juices. We're gonna cook it all together here anyway, but we're throwing the onions in here with the reserve from the meat sauce, or the meat rather. We're gonna get it nice and soft, not completely caramelized, but definitely pliable. And then once that's done, we're gonna throw in the broccoli. We're gonna dump everything in one go to give it one last warming. And then we're gonna plate it, and then we're gonna do the garnish on top, which really is gonna come in the form of that fried egg and maybe some rice seasoning stuff, because I don't have the sesame seeds. So get some roasted sesame seeds to complement your dish, just to give it a little more of a notch, it'll pick it up a notch. All right, so vegetables introduced, they're nicely browned, doesn't take that long, and now we dump everything in. So this is the finished product, plating completed. There's our fried egg on top of it. We put a little bit of the rice garnish on it. Nice and presentable, so let's give it a taste. Break the yolk, mix it up a little bit, and then we'll give it a taste. There we go, get that yolk in there. Not bad. Not bad at all. The egg yolk adds a nice complements. The meat's cooked just right. Vegetables, the taste of broccoli. Just firm, but definitely cooked. Not bad overall. Anybody can do this at home. You don't need a fancy wok. You can use a skillet, or you can use a pan. Use a George Foreman grill. Bottom line is you're limited only by your own creativity. We'll get to work on what's probably the pan de nat here shortly. Thanks for watching. Alright, so Nathan is our first victim, I mean customer. That's the laundry in the background.
It tastes like it's from Japan.
From Japan, from our time in Okinawa, remember that?
Yes.
What do you think, Nathan? Thumbs up? When you can't have the real thing, you have what Dad makes, right?
Yep.
Alright, there's your bowl.
Yes, this is my bowl. Good. Well, okay. Got some seasoning on my chopsticks. Got some noodles. Go. I'm throwing a piece of meat. Oh God! Wow. Ten out of 10 would recommend.
Nice.
I'm going to go.
Yeah, when you can't have it from the real thing or from the restaurant, is this okay?
Yes.
Alright.
Good substitute.
Nay. Yay. Alright. Say bye.
Bye.
This is not for you, the dogs. This is not for you. Alright, here we go. Oh boy. Look at that. Alright, nice gold brown. Pandesal, ladies and gentlemen. Pandesal. Alright, so dinner's done. Pandesal looks and smells like pandesal. Alyssa's gonna try one. Let's talk more, dude. Come on.
This is what this is like.
Alright. Put some honey on it. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Is it?
Wow.
Try it. Alright, so it's nice and crispy on the bottom, right? It's not sweet, not as sweet as I would like for it to be, but I think it's a good first attempt. Feed it to the camera lady. Nathan, come on here. small bites or anything. What do you think?
Good.
All right. I think this is a win all the way around. Baking's always a pain in the butt for me. I don't have a lot of good self-confidence when it comes to it, especially when it's a dish like this. But I think it tastes okay. I think it would probably be a little bit sweeter. I gotta play around with the dough mix, but that will do it for us here tonight at Dad the Noob. Stay super awesome. Make sure you wash your hands. Keep in contact with those that need to be kept in contact with. Encourage people to maintain their social distancing. But it doesn't mean you can be a stranger, because you got online and social media and all kinds of other ways to stay in contact. So, salamat po. Arigatou gozaimasu. Konbanwa. Good night. Stay super awesome, friends.
Thanks again for watching, and as always, please leave us a comment if you have questions. Give us that like and subscribe to be notified when our culinary quests and adventures post next. Until then, see you next time, and bye-bye.